Hey everyone, Kevin here. A lot of you in the prior videos have really liked the gray fedora, so I got a green one for this video. Anyway, in this video, I want to give you a really quick roundup of everything that's going on with a little bit of commentary. My goal is to keep this as short as possible, so let's get started. Here's the scoop. Congress is off now until June 1st. We know that. We also know that the House was in session today, and they slam dunked a bill with 417 yes votes and 1 no vote. Yet what's shocking to me is that House Democrats can slap together a bill like this and get everybody to vote on it, or almost everybody in the House to vote on it, and all it does is modify some terms to the Paycheck Protection Program, which is exactly what Republicans in the Senate want. This would have been the perfect opportunity for House Democrats to slide in a little mention. By the way, since we all seem good with this, why don't we slide in another $1,200 stimulus check now? Heck, you know what? We'll even line it out of the 1,800-page bill just so we can get that moving. That would have been a great example of Congress finally getting off their butts and making something happen for us. Yet no, they put together a 1.5-page bill, no mention of stimulus checks, just mention about making the Paycheck Protection Program better, which I have to say, the Paycheck Protection Program has now officially been completely transformed by this 1.5-page bill if it gets signed into law next week, which that's the expectation, that the Senate's going to pass this and Trump is going to sign this. If you want more details on that, I'll put a little bubble up here. You could click on that or click the link down below. I broke down all of the changes. Basically, if you're a business or you're self-employed or you're like an independent contractor, you want the PPP now, okay? It's literally free stimulus money. But I am shocked that you have Democrats like Charles Schumer slamming Republicans for sitting on their hands about the next round of stimulus, complaining that Republicans are distracted about being focused on China, Michael Flynn, and the FBI, when I feel like Democrats literally just rolled over to Republicans. And I think you all know me. I'm just telling it to you the way I see it. I try not to take sides at all, but from a negotiation point of view, we know Democrats want more, stimulus for the people. We've heard Republicans say they're open to more, checks to the people, but this was a perfect opportunity, and I honestly feel like they blew it. And so here we are waiting around, probably realistically, until the middle to end of July for potentially the next round of stimulus checks. Now, all of this was also developing at the same time as Donald Trump is having basically a war with Twitter after having a Twitter war with people about vote by mail, which I kind of wanted to reach out to see what all of you thought about vote by mail. So I ran this poll on Instagram, and it looked like 63% of you were okay with voting by mail. It's a little cut off there. And 37% of you thought that vote by mail was bad. And so it kind of shows a little bit of, there's definitely some divisiveness here. It's definitely not a slam dunk that everybody thinks vote by mail is okay. So it's clearly an issue, which makes sense. Donald Trump obviously posted tweets with, his opinions, which he backs up with his own facts. Twitter, there was a big outcry, and so Twitter put a little flag that said, hey, you know what? This information is being fact-checked or labeled as potentially misleading. Yet, I can't believe this either, and this is not me taking sides at all about this, but Twitter, come on. You should have seen this coming. You can't flag a Republican president saying, hey, this is potentially misleading, and then only give sources from left media sources, that is left-leaning media sources. And look, almost every publication has a tilt, and I'm not saying that's bad. Some are more in the middle than others, but even somebody as conservative, like, and when I say conservative in this context, I mean middle of the road, even someone as middle of the road as The Economist or the Associated Press or Reuters, the writers individually tend to have a little bit of a tilt too. But you can't take the Washington Post and CNN only, like those two, and then some other tweets from verified people, and use that as evidence to try to disprove a Republican president. It's the easiest thing to just respond with and say, seriously, all you did was use sources from the left? Come on, Twitter, you're dumb. That's basically what Donald Trump did. And you can't blame Donald Trump. Twitter basically gave him the easiest argument possible. Twitter would have been really smart here if they were going to label him, which they did, as potentially, leaving a misleading comment or whatever. They would have been really smart to try to get some sources from the left, the right, and the middle. I really think that was a big dumb move by Twitter. Oh well, moving on. Also, earlier this morning, I broke down 2 very important interviews. You can watch that video. I'll put a little bubble up here, or I'll link it down below as well. I broke down the interviews with Rob Portman and Larry Kudlow with their talk on CNBC. I went through exactly what they said, the verbiage they used, and everything, giving you kind of the bottom line of, hey, the $450 back to work credit might actually happen in conjunction with a potential future stimulus check. Now, we know that the $450 or the $600 boost credit currently expires July 31st, so it kind of remains to be seen if that'll be extended and if there will be, sort of a back to work credit and how that'll affect other people. Also, after Donald Trump announced a press conference to talk about China tomorrow, stocks immediately sank. That's partially because this morning, Larry Kudlow in that same interview also suggested that China will pay for this. That's not very good for the stock market. And it's kind of stuff that we've been talking about over the last few weeks that, hey, look, if we get optimism about the virus, expect volatility to continue because focus is going to shift to China. And remember how the China trade war was like all the rage a year to a year and a half ago? Yeah, well, all that crap is gonna come up again. I will say I did buy a little bit of stock in Tesla and Amazon today, and if I see them come down below my favorite price targets for Tesla and Amazon, 800 and 2400 right now, I'm probably picking up some more. And if you're not interested in picking stocks yourself, remember you could always download the app Webull, deposit $100 with the app Webull, and you will get 2 free stocks. At the same time, you can then spend your $100 if you want buying into a Vanguard index fund like VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, and then you'll also get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. Get your life insurance in the link down below. Check out my awesome programs on the psychology of money, stocks, real estate, and being an amazing investor. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time.